Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to be going over what there is to do in PSO2. I really wanted to just kind of show you guys basically what there is to offer in the game and kind of what end game content specific things that you can do currently in the game uh, and what there is to look forward to in the future. So it's kind of going to be like a is it worth coming back to or a is it worth playing kind of thing. I mean TLDR, yes, but I'm going to go in a little bit more in detail about what there is to do specifically on a daily basis as well. It's not the most engaging. There aren't any raids or anything really necessarily, I should say, at least not in the same format as like a proper raid, aside from the ultra quest or the urgent quest. But those urgent quests basically don't really count as a raid. They're more geared towards the casual player, pretty easy to do. There's no like hard version like there was in base PSO2 where they used to have like the 4-man hard version after you did the 12-man. No, it's pretty much all catered toward casuals. There's going to be a couple of different things that we're going to go over. And the first one I want to touch on is augment farming. That's going to be basically your main way of getting power and gearing up. You currently in the game have 5 augments. And I'm going to go in detail about how you get 5 augments a little bit later. But basically, you need 5 augments of each type. Most of these augments are going to be potency. At least 4 out of the 5 augments you have should be potency. I'm not going to go over all the augments or anything in this video, but basically, you're going to want to be farming these to basically increase your potency. I believe the max potency right now is like somewhere upwards of 60 to 70%. I'm only currently at like 40 something percent. The main thing you're going to be doing basically is going to be augment farming. You're going to be doing this the entire way through. Everything you kill pretty much drops an augment to an extent. So you're like, that's going to go into a lot of the different activities. Basically, every activity you do to get to different things is going to be revolved around augments. Now, how do you augment farm? The basic way, the way I view it, is when you're just going out grinding for levels or you're just grinding a zone, you feel like playing PSO2, you want to just hop into a zone and grind. That will always get you augments. It'll get your basic augments. Some of them, really required. You can get a bunch of different augments from that. There are specific bosses, though, that drop certain augments, such as veterans, which drop Dreadkeeper, and I believe certain veterans drop Dreadkeeper. All veterans drop Dreadkeeper, and then certain other veterans that are specific types, like Daishal, I believe Axe or Daishal Sword. I think it's Daishal Axe will drop Deafness 3, which is one of the a high priority augment. Now, currently, as of this making of this video, you can actually craft the augments. The augments come in 3 stages: 1, 2, 3, and some of them 4, very rarely, and like mastery 4, and then 1, 2, 3. We're gonna ignore mastery for right now because it's really extremely hard to get. I don't know of a solid way to get that. And like I said, I'm not going to go over all the augments or anything. But the way you get these augments is going to different open fields like Laboratory, Vanford Laboratory, or going to certain zones out in the open field that are highest level. It doesn't need to be the highest level. Anywhere from like 31 upwards, I think basically will get you what you need. So you can go to Vanford. You can go to Redum to get the Redum augments. Get the altar augments. You basically just get what you want. There's a lot of different augments that you need. You need Stamites. You need to be grinding the endgame zones from the elite mobs, which you get the Mega Fusias to make Stamite. You can use, again, a bunch of placeholder augments. But like I said, you'll basically just be farming in the open zone to get these. Now, what you'll also get, and another endgame farming activity that you want, is called Strugments. But you mainly get these Strugments from open field farming. That is going to be the main way. So that also ties in when you're open field farming, pretty much as long as it's a high end level zone, rank 2 of the Alio zones, and I think rank 3 of the Alio zones, and rank 2 of the Redum zones will get you the Mega Fusia as well as the Strugments. You will drop Strugments. Basically, these are used to make arms refiners. Arms refiners are required to make your gear limit break, and limit break gets your gear up to 50, which is currently the cap. Like I said, we're having a giant update in 2 months, so that might change. But as of the making of this video, it takes about 3 arms refiners, which is 30 of each Strugment. And A and B are really easy to drop. C is the hard one to get. They usually have different limited time campaigns or quests to kind of like get you geared better while giving you arms refiners straight up. But like I said, the main way you're going to be getting Strugments will literally just be from open field farming. It takes, like I said, you pop all your boosters. It takes a couple of hours to get 10 of each, especially C. It takes a very long time to get C. But A and B are pretty They're pretty easily dropped. But in the UQ, you actually get, I believe it's 2 of each in certain EQs, and then other EQs sometimes, or UQs, sometimes you'll get 7 of one type. Like I've gotten 7 Cs, I've gotten 7 As, depending on the UQ, kind of like the older ones. And then like in Dark Falls, I think I get 2 of each if I go to Dark Falls. Or no, I think Dark Falls gives me like 4 of each. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I do know that UQs will also get you your Photon Scales, and UQs are basically like urgent quests. Like the quests that pop up randomly, um, they happen in increments of 30 minutes, basically. And if 30, either at the 30-minute mark, I think I've seen it at the 45-minute mark, but 30-minute mark or on the hour, really just depends on when it's going. It also depends on if there's a concert. But yeah, so basically, like I said, you'll be augment farming and a lot in Strugment farming. Those are both open field activities. You'll basically just get that from farming the open field as well as doing urgent quests. You get different augments and different arms refine, arms refiners, Strugments. That's going to be kind of like your base gearing, basically like leveling up your gear, getting your gear better, kind of level it up. And then we have potential unlock. Potential unlock is comes in 4 levels, and different weapons have different requirements for the potential. Most of these just take materials. You go out and farm, like you mine materials out in the open world. You can just grab these. You can look up a bunch of routes. There's plenty of videos on routes for certain materials if you need a specific one. They respawn, I believe, every day or every 3 days. I'm not actually entirely sure. I don't go out and farm these. I just kind of like grab them as I'm moving about. But yeah, like you can kind of just get these. But yeah, basically you can potential unlock the gear by collecting certain materials and then going to the item lab and unlocking the potential for the weapon. And like I said, it comes in 4 stages. And currently the weapon that we are using is called Synchwim. It's the best weapon we have currently. It is not the only weapon you want, but it's basically the most accessible, as well as the Kuzu weapons, which are going to be used for one of the endgame activities coming later this month in April. But the Synchwim weapons are the month-long grind. It takes about a month and a half if you play every single day, so it'll take you about 2 months to actually get geared up, depending, give or take, depending on how serious you're grinding. Now, this is the end game farm. You most likely won't hit level 4. You could probably hit level 3 if you're playing pretty aggressively. I'm currently at level 2. But they did just add a way to get more of these things to unlock the potential, which are Photon Scales. And that's the other basically, what are the other in-game grinds you're doing? So far we have Augment Farming, we have Strugment Farming, which basically tie into the kind of the same activities. And then we have Photon Scale Farming. Now, Photon Scale Farming come from basically killing bosses called Giga or Gigantamax. Gigantamax? Pokemon? I don't know. They basically are giant purple versions of the enemies you are usually fighting that are like bosses, but they're just much harder. I'm not exactly sure where people farm for these. I just kind of go to whatever one's up. I usually go to Central Redum to go fight the T-Rex looking one, and it's basically just a bunch of people dying at once, but trying to kill the Giga. You basically do reduced damage, or I think they have a higher defense. I'm not entirely sure. I just know your damage is severely nerfed against the Gigantics, and for some reason, like I said, I think they just have really high defense. And yeah, they're really tough. They basically can one-shot you, especially if you're not Hunter, and I'm playing the tankiest class there is, and I still get one shot pretty often. So, yeah, at level 45, max level. Currently, you have to be level 45 to kill them, or you have to have a certain battle power. I think the battle power is like 2,140 or something. It's pretty high, but you'll get that in due time. But like I said, if you hit the max level, you can actually start grinding these. This is kind of like the most severe, some of the most severe content that you get in PSO2, basically kind of giving you that end game kind of like satisfaction of fighting. Well, this is more of an open world boss version of this rather than you kind of like going into an instance and fighting it. Now, there is also another way to do that. So the other way to get these photon scales would be going into the triggers, and I've heard you can get anywhere from 8 to 13 scales from these triggers by going into these portals. They're purple portals. Basically, when you're farming the open field, you'll drop these. They're called triggers. And when you get 5 of these triggers, either yellow is for basically like leveling up. You get like, materials, very, very good source of EXP for different armors, for leveling up your armor and weapons. So, you'll get these dropped pretty often, and then you get purple triggers like at a more rare rate. You'll get purple triggers, and these purple triggers allow you to go into these endgame zones that basically pit you against, I believe it's 5, I've never actually done one before, but I believe it's 5 gigas, and you farm these to get Photon Scales, as well as different augments. I believe you can also get the Mastery Augment, which is basically the best augment in the game. It goes up to 4, but that's a whole other grind. And I advise, a whole other grind that it takes a very long time. I'm not sure exactly, and sometimes they also drop different cosmetics like dashes and stuff. So yeah, it's a very good source of getting these Photon Scales currently because they add the ability to Photon Scales from Gigas. And like I said, every run is like 8 to 13, and you're gonna need a total of 1250. So you're gonna need 1250 entirely to make your single weapon level 4, and you're only gonna be able to make 2 weapons with the multi-weapon system. So you need about 1250. So it's gonna be a lot of runs, Gigas and UQs, as well as open world giga farming. Open world giga farming gives you anywhere from 2 to 4. I've seen 4, I've seen 2. Basically, it's based on your drop rate and how lucky you get. So max your drop rate out whenever there's, a storm, and then, go fight a giga. And you'll drop anywhere from 2 to 4. It takes a while, like I said. Storms happen pretty regularly. They can happen, they can actually happen right one after another. So you don't have to actually like wait. But most of the time it'll be spread out. And usually you'll be able to kill at least 1, maybe 2 gigas if you're lucky. I don't know any proper giga farming methods. I just go to, like I said, to Central Item, kind of like as a casual thing, and just kill it. But like I said, you can also do triggers, which will get you 8 to 13. So from what I've heard, I've actually never done one. So about 8 to 13 scales. And then you do your urgent quest, which also will drop you a certain amount of scales. Dark Falls drops you 12. Every other urgent quest you do at a higher level, so the higher level ones, will drop you 8. And there's plenty of them. There's like a couple of different variations of them. But you always want to catch a UQ if you see it. You always want to get it done because you'll always get 8 scales or you'll always get 12 scales. Basically, catching 2 or 3 every day, as well as doing some gigas, will basically get you that in about a month, a little less than a month. You can get 25. I'd say getting 25 to 50, anywhere from 25 to 50 a day will get you to that 1250 mark pretty easily. At least to the 600 mark to get you to level 3. And level 3, I think, is where everyone probably will be sitting by the time the new region comes out, if they're not playing every single day. But if you are playing every single day, you'll definitely get the 1250 because there's so many ways to get it now. Like I said, it's pretty easy to get now. They definitely alleviated a lot of the pain that we had getting the Photon Scales, so it's much easier to kind of like grind towards that goal, especially because it's an endless grind now. So yep, so we have Augment Farming, Photon Scale Farming from Urgent Quest, Gigas, which Gigas are kind of like the endgame thing. And then there's the Meseta Farm, which also ties into Gigas as well as Veterans. So you go around killing the Veterans, and you get stuff like Dreadkeeper, and then you can sell those augments using a 3-day shop pass as a free-to-play, which you need to stack up by using the Battle Pass. They're going to be giving away some 3-day shop passes, I believe, from some campaigns leading up to the new update in June, which is the level 60 update. But currently, right now, you can only get it from the Battle Pass. So you have to get to level 22. You have to start at the Battle Pass, get to level 22, which is free to get. It's 100 SG. SG is a currency you get in the game. It's completely free. Just basically buy the Battle Pass for 100 SG, and then you'll get the shop key for 3 days. Make sure you're stacked up with augments. Don't just pop these randomly. You want to make sure you have a bunch of augments you want to sell that are going for high demand, and then just sell them on the market. And that's a good way to make Meseta. Other ways to make Meseta is just open field farming. Not the best way to do that, but you do get a decent amount of Meseta. I've seen my Meseta go up by like 200k in the span of like 4 or 5 days just by open field farming. You also get Meseta from just doing your weeklies and your dailies, weeklies and dailies, weekly reset, daily reset. You get tasked to do certain things. I believe you get like 500 or 600k per week. Maybe it's a little bit more or less. I'm not actually entirely sure. I just know doing your weeklies gets you a large amount of Meseta, and this is the main way I basically get Meseta. I'm sitting at like 5 mil currently right now. After purchasing some cosmetic things that I wanted, I'm sitting at about 5 mil. I'm sitting at about 5 mil Meseta, and I don't really. I've been playing every day, but I don't sit. I'm sitting at about 5 mil Meseta. I make sure to do my weeklies every week, as well as I have never sold anything on the shop, so I'm sitting pretty good. I've never sold anything on the shop because it requires premium or 3-day shop pass, which you can get, like I said, from the battle pass. And they're hopefully going to add more ways to get them, which they are currently. And then the other endgame farm that is coming is going to be called Geo Labyrinth, which has different multipliers. as well as different they have different multipliers and different like additional add-ons to make the labyrinth harder. And the more you stack on there, the more difficulties you stack on, the more difficulties you stack on a geo labyrinth will basically get you more gear or more rewards. I don't know what these rewards are going to be aside from a few cosmetics. I don't actually know what they're going to give. I'm hoping they're going to give photon scales, maybe some weapons. Maybe they're going to evolve as well with the levels, because this is it scales to your level. So you can go in there, I believe you can go there level 30, or maybe you have to be like a minimum battle power, or you can go in there at level 45. But it's whatever the highest level in your party is, the enemies there will be that level. So if you're level 45, you have someone level 40 in the party, the enemies will scale to your level. Like I said, I'm not sure what the minimum level is you can go in there. I'm assuming it's going to be pretty high. It's kind of like an endless kind of thing. Oh, well, it's not endless. There's 6 waves, but you can keep going in there and you can keep just getting gear. I'm assuming the rewards are going to be good. We don't actually know entirely what they're going to give, but we do know there's going to be some cosmetics tied to it, like this really, really, really cool black flame ninja dash, which I'm super excited for. Definitely want that. Give you that edgy run feel, as well as Naruto run at the same time, like you're using Amaterasu on your feet. Really cool. I know that was a bit of a ramble, sorry about that, but basically we have a lot of different activities to do right now. Augment Farming, which is from, your general open field farming. Photon Scales, which is your UQs. You get that from Gigas as well. Giga farming, as well as doing your timed quests, every so often, every hour, every 2 hours, whenever the quest shows up. You got your Strugment farm and your Arms Refiner farm, which comes from open field farming as well, as also doing the EQ will also get you that as well. Meseta farm, which comes from your daily and weekly, basically, as well as grinding specific augments to sell. Your daily and weeklies in general, and the Geo Labyrinth, which is also coming soon as well. And then you also have the triggers as well to get some photon scales, augments, basically all in one. There's a lot of different activities to do currently. It's kind of hard to see what you want to gear for. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.